can get to sleep. I think about the implications of diving in too deep, and possibly the complications, especially at night. I worry over situations I know we'll be alright. Perhaps it's just imagination. Day after day it reappears. Night after night my heartbeat shows the fear. Ghosts appear and fade away.
Hi Jack, how you doing?
Rob, I'm good. I mean, what a day.
It's mad out there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's incredible.
It's so crazy. It's brilliant. It's got to be our record crowd out on the pitch, I would say.
It's buzzing, the music's loud, we've got fireworks, the kids are loving it, we won the game. Was it under sevens rugby?
Under sevens rugby league team, just an average friendly really, but I think to invite Massaoke down as a half-time show has really set the standard in the league.
Touch of genius.
Because some of the other teams are like, the other parents were like, do you do this every week? And we were like, no, there's always sort of entertainment.
They're going to be really disappointed when it's the three of us and a banjo next week. But apart from that, but Massaoke, what a performance! Who booked them? How did we get them?
It was great. Well, I mean, it's very hard to fit into their schedule. They're busy international artists, but it's just it's what friends do, isn't it?
Yeah,
so very grateful to them. Although I've just run into Jenny, I don't know if you saw her, but she was looking a bit traumatised because, I don't know if you're aware, she's been to visit her son who's doing a gap year in Japan.
Of course.
She went off to Australia and then she flew back on the way back round, and she was on the Qantas flight where they showed an adult film to the entire flight. Did you see that this week?
I didn't. What? Yeah. They did what?
So on the flight from Sydney to some Japanese city, they had a technical error with the in-flight entertainment system that prevented people watching what they wanted from their chairs.
Right.
So they just put on one film for the entire flight. And
it wasn't Toy Story 2.
It wasn't Toy Story film. It was a film with adult themes, which included various. Well, it starred Sean Penn. I think the movie was called. What was it called? It was an R-rated, as the Aussies call it, sex-heavy film. People went to social media and described that I had to prevent my children from seeing the boobs and penises that were on show for 40 minutes.
40 minutes?
Yeah, and I spoke to Jenny about it. She was quite traumatised by it because,
Jesus
she's quite
Christ.
straight-laced, isn't she?
Very straight-laced. That's a long flight as well. That's a very long flight.
Oh, God.
40 minutes? That's quite impressive, eh?
Yeah.
It's not one scene, is it?
I don't know. I think it was sort of incessant. But I've got a protection screen on my mobile for situations like this. If I'm on a flight, I can watch what I want because people can't see left and right.
Remind that I don't sit next to you on a plane next time we fly anywhere. Yeah. That's a bit dark.
No. It is dark.
Poor Jenny, but she liked Massaoke, right?
She loved Massaoke. I think that's brought her back in. So without further ado, let's introduce today's band. This is where I drift into reading something but pretending that I haven't written it down, try to lift it and make it sound like
acting skills going, man,
Yeah, so as we've talked about, there's a big buzz in the Clubhouse today, particularly over on the cabaret stage now, as we welcome the first, the best, and the biggest mass karaoke band in the world, Massaoke. They're renowned for bringing the sing, that's their tagline, bring the sing and the party wherever they perform. They've got a long now history of captivating audiences at iconic festivals, Glastonbury, Leeds, Reading, Latitude, Mighty Hoopla, Snowbombing. They've played the Adelaide and Edinburgh festivals. I spoke before about their residency at both those. They've entertained the masses at St Patrick's Day in Trafalgar Square, Chinese New Year in Sydney. Their regular iconic venues, Electric Ballroom in Camden, The Scoop in London, the fantastic sing-along summer Friday nights. You might have seen them on Britain's Got Talent or flying on top of a lorry in the Aldi advert. Really interesting, as I'm sure we'll dive into this, they've made thousands of grown men sing along to Bonnie Tyler at full voice at huge major sporting events, including Rugby World Cup finals, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Twickenham, Sports Relief, race courses across the country. And they played at the O2 in London to get the crowd singing ahead of the Euro 2024 final screening down there. And, of course, at the T20 Blast Finals in Edgbaston, where they kindly invited us, Jack and I, to join them in the box. And I hope they didn't listen to the full episode post that, as they left the box to hear Jack and I getting slowly more drunk on the balcony after they'd packed up and gone home.
Just getting alcohol poisoning at Edgbaston.
So please welcome for a longer chat this time to the Stage Door Athletic Clubhouse, Demon drummer Matt, aka Matt Factor, and frontman Mark Nilsson, aka Mac Savage, 2/5 of Massaoke. Welcome, lads.
Hi, thanks for having us.
Good morning.
They are, yes. And it's finally great to have a couple of guests on who have really good microphones to use. They sound great already, don't they?
I know. I mean, it's brilliant as Shobna Gulati was and is and was fantastic to have. She sort of was lying in bed, half awake into her iPhone,
yeah.
So it was an edit and a half, but thank you for bringing broadcast quality mics.
I'm glad you appreciate it.
Oh, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Oh, listen to that. Fresh from gigs over the weekend, you were at Clapham Grand this weekend, weren't you? How was that?
Yeah, Clapham Grand on Saturday. It was good. It was a new show we were unveiling, which was 90s versus noughties, because we like to do themed shows for our London event, and this was a new theme.
So how much rehearsal goes into a new theme?
Not enough.
More than that show. Definitely more than should be more than we did for this one. But yeah, it takes a couple of months probably, doesn't it, for a new show really to take shape, I'd say.
In time, yes. In rehearsal time, a couple of hours.
For a couple of months.
It'll be all right on the night, yeah.
Yeah, no, it takes a lot of planning, like a lot of arguing about what's going to work, what songs to do, and then you've got to work out how to tie them together, because we're always doing medleys and mega mixes, mashups and whatnot. So you've got to work out how to kind of get them all fitting together nicely in a sort of seamless transition. Yeah.
So what constitutes a good mashup? What are you looking for? Similar BPMs, contrasting vibes, similar vibes? How does it work?
It varies.
Beats per minute for those.
That's right, beats per minute. Yeah. Rebel Wright, our bass player, keeps a spreadsheet of BPMs.
Does he? Does he?
Yeah. Wow. Wright is a spreadsheet. He's also our accountant.
Double it up, man. Double it up. Why not?
Absolutely. There's no set rules, really. It's a bit weird. There's a lot of kind of instincts there. You sort of, so sometimes good BPMs being the same as good. Sometimes it's bad. Sometimes thematically things need to work. But you kind of get a feel for kind of the thematic sort of thing that emerges. And it might be sort of the types of artists are similar. It might be the era is similar. It might just be sort of like there's something sonically that sort of fits in there, like it's a very synth heavy song. So you go to another synth heavy song or something like that. So it's a bit tricky. You just have to feel your way a little bit. And we've spent a lot of time feeling our way, and certainly in the earlier days, feeling our way badly. We've definitely kind of learnt on the job, and there's been a couple of there's a few moments. I still get the few moments where it's like that's not really working out, but it's we've kind of learnt over the years how to put these things together, and it's a kind of there's no actual set rules is the answer to that question.
And do you know what kind of goes into your set list? Will you be in the car stuck on the motorway and the radio comes on, you go, oh my god, this would be great at Glastonbury? Is that how it works? Or do you just text each other and pick songs and go, this would be brilliant? How does it work? What goes into a set?
Yeah, it is a bit of
inspiration comes from many places, Jack.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah, I'm just writing notes down for my career. So if you could help me out, that'd be great.
Yeah, no, every now and then someone will hear a song, and we've got a million WhatsApp groups with different titles, and in the inspiration group that someone will write send a Spotify link. I just heard this would be a banger, and then someone else will go, no, I hate that.
We're really getting a window into the band dynamic here. It's not Spinal Tap, is it?
Most
not at all.
Spinal Tap is a documentary. It's a real life thing that actually happened. It's not made up. That's how life actually
they
is.
Go up to 11. Matt. They go up to 11, don't you?
Yeah, so I think that the picture is there's a fair bit of bickering, but we eventually find a way. We find consensus, and it's usually when we find a consensus bits, those are the bits that tend to make it in, and that tends to work.
Well, I'm really because you developed. I mean, how long have you been together now?
Oh, well, it depends when
I've
you start
been in the band, I think, coming on for 11 years, and it was going another incarnation, before I joined, it were going 3 years. Yeah.
Proto Massaoke started in 2011.
I think 13 years, is it? 14 years?
13 and a half long years.
Yeah,
could always count the days and hours.
And you've evolved in that time in sort of, I'd say, recent years, probably 5 or 6, into these characters and personas that you've developed, haven't you? What was the rationale for that? Why did you think about that?
The show was rubbish before.
Well, when we we found that we were useless. No, when we started out, we were I was sitting down behind the keyboard. There was, we even had a host to kind of go, right, next song, and to kind of shout at the audience when to come in and that sort of thing. And they had printed song sheets. It's evolved into what it is today, which is, for those who haven't seen Massaoke, a sort of over-the-top show that's a little bit, I don't know, we're just trying to see how far we can go with the silly performance levels, up to Spinal Tap meets Kiss meet the Darkness kind of thing. The more pyros and confetti and guitar solos on giant platforms we can throw in, the better.
Basically, what we're trying to do is we're trying to combine as many flammable clothing items as we can with pyrotechnics, basically. And,
I did think that watching you, I was like, this is a fire safety risk.
Yes.
And just talk us through, what is a Massaoke evening? If you come along, you haven't been to, what are you walking into?
So it's a sort of theatrical rock band show, really, and the band come on dressed in spandex and sequins and bandanas and such like. Glad to see you're wearing your bandana too.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
in homage to you, I thought I'd don a bandana.
And you can expect sort of 90 minutes or more of a big, massive mega mix of songs that you know really well already. Pop songs, rock songs, rap songs, everything, but the really well-known ones. And the words will be on a big screen behind the band, and the whole crowd will sing along with as much of it as they can and dance with their friends. And it's just a big celebration of all the best hairbrush anthems and solid gold classics from the decades.
Yeah. I mean, I've been many, many times over the years. I was a roadie, in fact, one year. I came along to Latitude
Groupie
Festival
or roadie,
and lugged some speakers in at the start. So I officially a band roadie. And people love it, don't they?
They really do.
I mean, they really, really love it. It's such a great... It really connects, I think, as you said, you described them, Mark, like the hairbrush moment. But I think it just connects with a few things that we've always been interested in this podcast around, like a sporting event, just the mass experience, the shared experience, when people come and they do something and they're having the shared experience and there's a focal point for it. It sort of brings out the best in humanity, I think. And people in those crowds do things that they would never do in any other context with their mates, and then they walk back and head back to KPMG and talk about their great weekend and go meet a client to talk about derivatives. But at the weekend, they've literally been jumping en masse to Jump Around by... Who sings Jump Around?
House of Pain. House of Pain, yeah.
And having the time of their life.
Yeah, it's amazing, really. Communal singing is something really special, and not much of it is that good when you think about it. The best examples of communal singing are football terraces, I think. That's when it's kind of really fun.
Yeah.
And what else is there? There's church, there's school assembly, there's choirs. They're all a bit shit, aren't they? So it's just...
I don't know if you've been to the Hawthorns, Matt, but it's very good singing there. Okay, no, I'm joking. Of course, yeah. It's shit.
No, I mean, there are some lovely choirs and lovely churches, and some of the choral singing there is gorgeous, but it's not, I don't know, it's not as fun,
liberating,
perhaps, as a drunken night out with Massaoke. And so it's provided a bit of a gap. There's a gap that it's kind of filled, which is singing along in a non-drippy way or a non-sporty way.
Yeah.
Or a way where you're being told what to sing as well. And I think that's the thing with a lot of these things. They're very regimented. So actually, one of the good things about singing is it's very liberating, and you feel quite, you're letting a lot out. But if you've got some guy in a little dicky bow sort of like saying, you sing this now and you sing this now, it's not quite as fun as going out having a few pints and putting your arms around your mates and having a proper sing-song, Well,
it's very true. And Rob alluded to it in your beautiful introduction. Like, they're not usually, especially at sporting events, they're not usually people who would go and sing at churches and all that kind of stuff. So this amazing sense of relief. I mean, when I was standing on the bench at Edgbaston, I think I was singing into the eyes of a man dressed as a monk. Was he a monk, Rob? I can't really remember. After far too many drinks. But the connection that you had with it and that release, that cathartic release of, especially at a cricket match, sitting down for 6-7 hours, yes, you tanked up on booze, but being able to experience this moment of just sheer connection, of just pure, unadulterated fun with just complete strangers and being able to sing is absolutely brilliant. And that crowd at Edgbaston, because obviously that's the only time I've seen you, was huge. I mean, we're talking like 5,000-6,000 people if people haven't been to Edgbaston, the concourse is outside.
It was about 1,500, I would say, Jack.
Do you?
Yeah, I think in that area. I mean, I know you're fond of exaggerating sizes.
Jack was on the table, so he got a good view.
It was Rob. It was way.
So he had the best view of anyone.
No, I think it maybe a split the difference. I think I would guess it was maybe 2,000 or 3,000 by the.
It was huge,
Okay.
and like I couldn't believe you could fit that amount of people into that little concourse area. But it was absolutely brilliant, and that must have been a small crowd compared to like the O2, Glastonbury. You must have packed so many people. What's the experience playing in front of that many people?
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I mean, the O2 was a particularly exciting one. We got the call on semi-final day, and they basically said, if England win the semi-finals today, would you be free to play the O2 in Greenwich just before the final starts with the big public screening? And we're like, oh my God!
Which, by the way, we weren't free to play that at all. We already had another booking that day, so we had to work out some way of making it happen. Well, I ended up having to get like a motorcycle sort of taxi across London.
Did you? That's so rock and roll, man.
That's so rock and roll.
Both gigs. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we made it work because we had a gig in somewhere else the night before as well, wasn't it? It's like Manchester or something like that. So it was a really full on, really hectic sort of a few days. But it was, I think there's a point with, and because I'm a big football fan as well, so I've been sort of going to stadium for ages, and there's a certain point where the audience reaches a sound of a crowd, and I mean a big crowd, and that is the most electric, thrilling thing. And it takes, and it's actually probably more than 3,000 people. It's just, there's a certain sort of mass of people where it actually kind of like the crowd sounds like just takes on this extra sort of electric element of like this kind of huge mass. And when you hear that, and it's you're playing, and you're getting that back, it's just like it's complete electricity. It's a fantastic feeling.
What's the most memorable of those feelings that you've had, Matt? What do you think has been the one that stood out?
Well, I missed the best one because I was getting married the next day.
No way.
So
it was only 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. So the guys played at it was the Blackpool Illuminations, wasn't it? So turning on, and that was 50,000 people.
Oh my wow!
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing. You couldn't see the end of the crowd; they were just rammed from sort of as far as the eye could see along the pier.
This summer's been particularly good as well because we've always done quite well at sports events, but this summer there's been some really big ones. We did the fan zone for the Champions League in Hyde Park, so they're all basically sort of like the Dortmund fans that didn't get tickets. Basically, sort of loads of them came over. They put on some entertainment. And we did about 3 sets that day, and the first 2 were a bit rough, but the last set, and there were basically like way too many people there. It was fantastic, and that was electric.
There was 30,000 Dortmund fans holding their scarves up, and their song is
for the Yellow
"You'll Never
Wall.
Walk Alone."
Yeah,
the yellow Wonderwall. We did Wonderwall for them, of course.
Oh wow!
They held their scarves up. It was like a religious event.
Yeah. They're an extraordinary set of supporters, aren't they? The Dortmund ones. I think it's an interesting link to Liverpool, not just with the song, but also Jurgen Klopp as well as that connection. But there's a big kinship there.
It's got one aside, Rob, on that. So with the Dortmund fans being there, it just always amuses me this when I think of this. There was a German sausage stall in like Hyde Park, and just seeing this queue of Germans buying these sausages and walking away, taking a bite, and just be like, it's just the funniest thing I think of. It was
throwing them away.
What is this?
What is this?
It's funny, isn't it? Of that, that's my abiding memory of that event is the Germans being disgusted by the British attempts at a German sausage. It was fantastic.
I bet. Well, first of all, congratulations on your wedding. How was the wedding, Matt?
It was fantastic. It was lovely. And the boys made it back just in time. It was good, so we had everyone there. But it was very nice. Very small.
Good. Perfect. Very good. Is there a distinction? Because you've played at rugby crowds, you've played at cricket crowds, you've done various sports over the years. Is there a discernible difference between the quality of singing according to the sport?
That's a good question.
The rugby players are good.
Do you think? Rugby fans?
Rugby fans, sorry, yeah.
Are they?
Yeah. I think maybe it's just because we've played more rugby than any other sport, as in played gigs at more rugby games than any other sport. But they've now come to, they know what it is, so they turn up for it. They're there ready
Yeah.
from song one.
Swing Low is quite it's quite
I'll
rousing.
tell you who the
when they sing
worst.
that. But I think go on.
The darts.
Oh, really?
No, I can believe
Yeah,
that.
they were fun. But yeah, they were messy. They were really messy.
Yeah, I think alcohol might have something to do with that. Yeah. But I was thinking, because it's interesting what you were saying about the Dortmund crowds, is that I think it's much more routine for football fans to be singing, right? You know, they're used to it. I don't know how these things start, you know, what the trigger point for a lot of these songs are. But you'd think they'd be much more sort of game for it and ready to do it and go full voice, whereas there's a bit of a... I'm amazed that you said rugby, actually, because I thought there's a bit of stiffness in those crowds sometimes, isn't there, around singing and versus cheering. You know, we're here to watch the sport, guys. Just hush down.
The football fans actually want to do their own songs quite a lot. So you finish a song and then they start up their own one and you're like, shut up, I want to play Living on a Prayer at this point. You just have to interrupt them.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah,
And did the song choices
wild.
change specifically to the sports crowds that you're playing at? So, I mean, of course, when you played Sweet Caroline at Edgbaston, it was pretty rousing and pretty spectacular. What about the rugby? Are there any specific songs that are specific to the sports you're attending or playing at?
The football one was, we definitely had to learn the Skinner and Badil Football's Coming Home song.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Was there another one we did for that? Oh, yeah, and we did the Girls Aloud one, you know. Football's coming home again. There were a few of those.
Girls Aloud?
Yes.
You mean the... it's not sure.
Atomic Kitten.
Atomic Kitten.
Atomic
yeah,
Kitten.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Southgate, you're the
Yes.
one, yeah.
Southgate,
Although
you're the one,
famously
yeah.
he wasn't, clearly, because he's not the manager anymore.
What about the nerves and preparation for it? Because, you know, you've been doing this for a long time now. You must be very used to it. Has it become routine, or is there still that sort of pre-performance rumbling of the stomach and anxiety and butterflies happening?
Well, there was on Saturday when we were doing a new show that we didn't know very well.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. It tends to be, for me, I don't know, it's not speaking on behalf of anyone else, but for me, it does tend to be when it's something that I'm unsure of. So if we're doing our normal show, it's completely, I feel kind of really on top of it. But if there's new stuff or there's sort of anything that's a little bit out of the ordinary, then I do start to get the butterflies again.
Yeah, I agree. It's more about the newness of the material than the size of the crowd. Like before when we did the O2, I was just really excited. There were no nerves. It was just pure excitement, which is lovely. Because I used to be terrified when I was back at uni with you, Rob, and I had my little band, Calico or whatever it was called, 50 Hertz. I'd be shitting myself before a gig for days. And I'd be so scared to the extent where I was like, why am I doing this? I just feel sick all the time. To be honest, since then, with Massaoke and stuff, it's knowing that you can do the job. You can definitely do it. You definitely aren't going to fuck it up.
Yeah.
And if you make a little mistake, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I wonder if there's something interesting about judgment of that as well, because we were talking last week. Jack's just done a speech at a wedding. I've been a best man at a wedding a few times. And I always find it much more nerve-wracking than doing a play or telly, because it's your material and there's a sort of a large sense of judgment that you're filtering through your mind about, is this right? Are people going to like it? Have I been funny? Have I gone too near the line? Have I not been emotional enough? And in your own bands, historically, that's your material.
Yeah.
You're aspiring, you're hoping someone's going to sign you, you're going to get the next gig. Whereas, I guess with this, you know the material is great. You know you guys have really put in a show with it. You're all really consummate at what you do. So that liberates you to go out and be free and just do the enjoyment bit. Do you think there's a bit of that?
Yeah,
I'd say so, yeah. Certainly. It takes a lot of that annoying stuff we never used to enjoy out of it, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah, and it also kind of allows us to just be entertainers and performers, and sort of like, you know, our job really is to go inside people and make them feel stuff, and that a lot of the time that's just, I feel happy and I want to jump up and down and dance. But it's like, if you don't have that extra tier of like, do they like my particular song or anything like that, you can really focus on the important parts of entertaining. And important parts of making sort of people have a good time.
Yeah.
But it's also, I was going to say, it's also the size of the crowd. Like, surely, you know, the validation of having, you know, how many people at the O2 singing back at you. And I feel like it was interesting you were talking about smaller gigs with your band earlier, Matt. I always find it's almost easier to perform in front of a larger crowd because you're sort of dealing with one entity, and that entity, you're engaging with that as opposed to 2 tables on the left and I have to engage, the 3 tables on the right aren't enjoying it, so I'll come to that. You know, when we did West End Live, it was just like this wall of people and you had to address them as opposed to, 2 boxes on the left and then a smattering of people at the back. And that validation must be exactly the same.
That's a really good point, yeah. And you're right. It's smaller, and we still play smaller shows. We'll get hired to play corporates or whatever, and there's not always a lot of people there. And you do have to spread your attention to a table over there, a few people on the dance floor, try and get more on the dance floor, but don't put too much pressure on them, because you've really got to hold the energy in the room. It's a lot of work. Whereas, as you say, one large audience is like one... I come to think of them as like a child, like a toddler. That helps with the nerves as well. They're all different as well. One audience is different from the next day's audience, even if the venue's the same. And one day you might have an unruly toddler audience, and the next day you might have a shy toddler audience. And you've just got to adapt how you perform to them. Maybe they need coaxing out themselves. Maybe they need a bit of calming down. They are one entity, and it's really interesting when enough people come together, they have a singular personality, and how that happens, I have no idea.
It's so true. It's almost like this herd mentality sort of thing, but psychologically on a human, it's really quite odd. And you're right that every large crowd and every audience has completely its own identity, and the performer or the band or the play or the musical or the whatever or the film has to kind of navigate its way around one entity as opposed to... And I feel like when the crowd is bigger and you have that, it's sort of, not easier, but it's just a different kind of vibe to be able to engage with them. It's really interesting.
I find that really fascinating, because as a director, when I'm working with a company of actors, I really try and caution against that, because I think they can very quickly develop a group mentality, a group think around personifying an audience with one quality. Oh, they're shit tonight. You hear a lot, actors will come off stage and they've decided the audience are shit. And then suddenly that sets in train a whole set of events throughout the performance, because they've decided collectively that audience is shit. Whereas, 80% of the people are just having very different experiences. And sometimes it's not always a demonstrative response, especially in theatre, that they're really enjoying it. They're really thinking about it. They're not cavorting, but they are tittering. And all those things that as a performer you can take judgment on, and then that sets in motion, maybe you're not going to sell it as much. And who, that sort of who's the starting point, or who's the starting point for that energy. But hearing what you're saying, I totally understand what you mean as well, because of course they do sort of develop a symbiosis, and they start to feed each other, and it becomes one thing as well. It's fascinating.
I think you're right, Rob. I think you're right, but actually I think that comes down to basic professionalism, though, doesn't it? And sort of like leaving 100% on the stage, regardless of who's out there. And actually, we work harder.
No, I would disagree with that, though.
Would you?
I think you've got to do different things with different audiences. Certainly, because our particular show is interactive. You can't do the same thing and expect, with say a shy audience as you do with
and that's what you're saying, isn't it, Matt? Is work harder, be more strategic, think better. How can you bring them out, take responsibility for it?
But in those smaller crowds, sometimes you're looking for those alphas as well. Those people who are sort of like gonna, be the person that sort of like brings the crowd out. They sort of is, going to express themselves. But the other thing that's really important, like sometimes we do shows and we'll get someone come up to us afterwards, and I've seen them, I've clocked them. I'm sort of quite privileged being the drummer, because I'm sort of quite static, so I can scan the crowd quite a lot and sort of like pick out individuals. And you've seen them, and they've been stood there the whole night, almost impassive, and they come up to you afterwards. It's like, that's the best night I've ever had in my life. And you're kind of like, and it's just just because
tell your face
different, but people don't, and it's not the audience's job to sort of like make us feel good, It's if that's how they express themselves, then that's fine, and it's actually it's really reassuring when we get that reaction from people, because you actually realise and understand that different people do have fun in different ways.
Yeah. When do you feel you've really bombed?
Should we talk about July?
I've been a couple.
Supporting a certain cartoon dog.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh, God, we need that story.
We headlined a festival in Blackpool. It was a family festival.
Yeah.
And we were co-headlining with Hey Dougie.
Oh.
And for one reason or another, just no one was interested, apart from maybe 12 kids who came on their own, unencouraged by their parents, who were still miles at the back of the field. And we did our best with them. But when there's 12 kids in a huge field, there's not much you can do. I mean,
That was at the start. Later on, we played 2 sets, and the second set was after Hey Dougie had been. So, like, and then, one set Hey Dougie had been, everyone's like, yeah, bye. So there are even fewer.
just left.
Oh, it's these guys again.
This was the night after we'd played at Latitude to like 11,000 people the previous night, and they'd gone absolutely wild.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of this is real life. Okay, let's not get carried away.
It's one that you've just got to whack the invoice in and get home, haven't you, on those gigs, I think.
It was fun.
Talk about having an audience of toddlers.
Literally,
yeah, very much.
So what about your sporting lives? Matt, you talked about being a football fan. Have you always been a sports fan?
Well, I'm a football fan, and I'm an Arsenal fan specifically. So I've been
happy
going
days
to see Arsenal for years and years and years. I think I saw my first game about 1981. So unfortunately don't get to see them very much anymore because of work, which does happen.
Have you ever played the Emirates?
No, annoyingly. So we played at the Tottenham Stadium for Saracens, and it's just like I'm probably never going to play. I'm never going to play at Emirates. It's just one of those things. It's the one place I would absolutely desperately love to play. And unfortunately, it's probably not going to be. And I also used to work. I used to do music in sport as well. So I used to do like the anthems for like the World Cup and Rugby World Cups and stuff like that. So this is why I think Massaoke is so appealing.
What do you mean?
To me.
Yeah.
So I used to do the A&R for the records for like. So I worked on a '98 version of It's Coming Home of Three Lions. And I did like the official album of Euro 2000, of Rugby World Cup 99, 2003, so on and so forth. So I've kind of like got a lot of sports and music kind of crossover experience, which I think is why that's I think one of the reasons Massaoke appealed to me so much. Sort of like when we started doing doing the idea, and it's like this is just like football, basically. This is like being on the terraces. But so I've been going to see Arsenal.
That's amazing. That's so cool. I mean, would you say that Arsenal are probably some of the weakest mass singers in the league?
Rob. It's not midday yet.
I would not.
Jesus, Rob.
I've been to the Emirates. Oh my God.
It's not Hybrid Library anymore.
That's quite harsh.
They've got a lot better. They have got. Do you know what?
They have got better. They have got
It's
better.
nowhere near as bad as what we used to be.
fairly-
Hybrid Library. It's not that anymore.
Yeah, we were playing pretty insipid football as well. Like it's kind of again, it's up to the people performing to sort of get the reaction as well. To a certain extent. If the football's not great, then it's kind of and that's what I guess you do get some of the lower league clubs are fantastic though as well, even though the football's rubbish. But what else have you got to do? It's not that the football's worth watching.
But it's true, actually. You say that when that sort of herd mentality, it kind of links into something we spoke about earlier. I mean, I've been at football games before, and you're just dying for the team to just use the 12th man to kind of imbue them with some sort of confidence, and the crowd really infect the performance of the players, and the players' performance really infects. It's like two characters on a stage. It's absolutely crazy, and you have to deal with that entity. So when Arsenal decided to get an atmosphere, it must have been really useful.
Yeah. Well, it's like that game when we drew against Liverpool. Was it last season where we were sort of 2-0 up? I think it was, and there was a tackle or something like that went in, and then basically the cop just got completely energised, and it just turned the fans turned the game on its head, and all of a sudden it was like a completely different experience.
And all it has to be, you're so right, all it has to be is a tackle or a yellow card or something like that ridiculous, and the whole crowd just changes. It's brilliant.
I remember conversely as well being at Ellen Road to watch Leeds versus Norwich. Actually, Farker was managing Norwich at the time, and we had Bielsa, and it was at the season when we were both battling for the top spot in the Championship to go up, and it was a big crunch game, and Ellen Road is banging. I mean, that is a great atmosphere. The fans are brilliant, and before the game they'd given free scarves to everybody in the stadium on the seats, so everyone was twirling the scarves and singing, marching on together and getting a rocking atmosphere. And then Norwich scored about 60 seconds into the game, and it was like someone had pricked a balloon. I mean, it just all the atmosphere just went out the stadium, and it was really hard to recover, and you could see that the players got infected by that. There was just this mass kind of like anticlimax, and it was horrible.
What's that song that they say? Oh yeah, Leeds are falling apart again. I love Joy Division, don't I?
But I think that's the thing with like the once you get the noise of people en masse is infectious. And that's why with the larger crowds for us, and it becomes with the larger crowds for us, it becomes more of a managing that basically, and sort of like making sure that the energy sort of levels stay in the right sort of area, and everyone's, because that energy, like even if you are there sort of like this, the noise around you will make people behave in ways that they actually wouldn't otherwise. It's just really super infectious to see what happens to people when they have that kind of that roar of singing around them. Like I say, it's really exciting to see.
What do you think it is? Do you think there are like individual alphas dotted around crowds that then are the kind of, then there are betas around them? And how does it work? It's so interesting.
The psychology of it is crazy, actually, how if you get a bunch of humans together in a large crowd, and you really have to manage it.
But I think in football crowds, it must be organised. I mean, I think there are forums and fan forums, aren't they, where they talk about and they create the songs and they send out the words to the chants, etc. Yeah, hymn sheets, essentially. And there must be protagonists and, as you say, alphas who sort of start these off or kind of monitor and curate the set list through a game, as well as it being instinctive.
There's certain pubs people meet in as well and do that first. So I think there is a thing where people, fans will meet in certain pubs and they'll sort of basically like practice stuff and go out into the
I love that though. I've said this a few times on this podcast. When I was doing Warhorse, the guy who wrote the music for it, when he got all the music written for it, the only reason he got into music was because his uncle and his dad would go to football games purely just to sing. They didn't like sport, they didn't really like football, but the only places they were allowed to sing was either church or the football, and they weren't religious. So they just went to the football, handed out all the chant sheets, and just sang songs. That's all it was. I mean, we're talking hundreds of it, all the way through his generation, like 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. It's such a fantastic... And these are like alpha male men who... working class blokes who work down the mine and stuff, and they just want to go and sing.
It's like, we're singing a bit of Brahms or something, are we? Or so we stuck some lyrics over some sort of like... sometimes relatively obscure.
Some of them are great songs. Yeah. It's so
There's
true.
a lot of
and the lyrics are
music in
brilliant
sport,
as well. I mean, the Albions, their home anthem is the Lord's my shepherd. Like, it's a hymn. Marching on together is a great like chant. You'll never walk alone. But it's just, we sing great stuff. I love it. I think it's brilliant. And for people to go and
You'll never walk
sing,
alone is, let's face it, it's from a musical. It's from Carousel.
Yeah,
and it's become like
totally Rodgers and Hammerstein. It's brilliant.
What about your sporting journey, Mark? Because Eton Fives you mentioned at the cricket. No, but you've been a cricket fan, haven't you?
Yeah, I used to love cricket. I played at prep school, and then I went to posh school. I went to Harrow.
Nice.
I played cricket at Harrow. I had a funny cricket career. My first year, I bowled Chinaman, which is unusual, left-hand leg spin.
Yeah.
And the cricket master was very excited about this. And I had a couple of good overs in the nets for the tests. And I started off in the A's. And then they quickly found me out, and I was demoted to the B's for another game. And then the next game I was in the C's. And then I ended up comfortably in the D's by game 4.
And then finally retreated to the music room where you belong.
Yeah. No, I stuck with the D's. That was all right. I played some cricket. Mainly house cricket, to be fair, inter-house matches.
How did you get into bowling left-arm leggy when you're quite tall? When I met you, I thought you'd be ripping beamers down, absolute seeds, getting it swinging.
Well, I would have been if I was this tall then. I wasn't, unfortunately. Okay. When I went to school, I remained prepubescent till I was about 17 and barely 5 foot tall. I then shot up a foot in a year during my A levels, and it was horrific. Honestly, puberty and school were horrific experiences for me.
Horrific.
I haven't hit puberty yet, so I'll let you know how it gets on. I always like to know about cricketers' catches. Have you got any speckies, any worldies that you've caught? Or I'm talking one-handed dives in the slips.
No, I was a dropper.
A third man dropper.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's coming. It's a hard ball.
I'd just be terrified. There'd be an absolute dolly coming towards me, and the whole team would be like, oh, no, it's Nilsson.
He's eating fruit
and I'd be there,
on the
occasionally I'd catch it, and I'd be like, yes!
Okay.
God, that's so brilliant.
They gave up with us on cricket.
Yeah.
So I went to a really crap comprehensive school, and like no one had the patience to play cricket. They gave up. They tried. Like one of the teachers, PE teachers, loved cricket and really wanted us to play cricket, and it's total washout. It's just everyone just completely lost interest really quickly.
Yeah, comprehensive schools, you're more important having cigarettes at the back of the science block than playing cricket.
Exactly.
I'm going to say, and the cricket pitches were not hallowed turfs.
Yeah.
You know,
They were
someone would be
kids on a hockey
BMXing it
pitch.
over the weekend, wouldn't they? You know, just cracking it up. But what remains the sort of sporting arena ambition then for Massaoke? Where do you imagine that you'd love to play? What would be the pinnacle?
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Could you imagine?
Oh my God, could you imagine?
Super
get
Bowl
there.
with Gaga.
We're gonna get there.
Gaga? What is Lady Gaga?
Gaga.
That would
Do you think,
be
do you think it could happen, couldn't it?
Of course it could.
It could happen.
We
It's
keep
gonna
doing
happen.
things that we shouldn't
Yeah.
be doing. So, it's a kind of
Why
really,
not?
when you think about it. Like,
Oh my God, I
played
will
before-
be
We
there.
played before
Yeah.
the Rugby World Cup final. It's like, that shouldn't have happened either. That was fun as well.
Yeah.
Remember that, Mark? So we played before the Rugby World
Yeah.
Cup final. It was Australia versus New Zealand, and Australians outnumbered the New Zealanders. It was at Twickenham, and I think Australians outnumbered the New Zealanders by about 10-1. You know how Australians are at losing, so we just spent the entire time just willing Australia to, and it's like, please beat New Zealand, please beat New Zealand. They got absolutely torn apart, I seem to recall, and that was the first half an hour of that show was incredibly hard work. I'm trying to
The toddler was pissed off. Yeah.
Come on, toddler was not happy. But yeah, we got them in the end. But yeah, we've done. I think we've done all sorts of things that we shouldn't have done really. So why not the Super Bowl as well?
Why not? I'd like to see Massaoke singing the national anthem at the FA Cup final as well. I think that'd be great because it's always, some sort of, twee chorister or I don't know. Well, it's either that or Becky Hill doing a national anthem in a really,
more
I
that
don't know,
nowadays, isn't it?
traditional way. But I'd like you to rock out on the national anthem and then meet Prince William down the line. I think that's what needs to happen.
Have you been invited to any of the NFL games that have been over here? Because they have fan parks around the city.
No, not yet.
That's
We're
the
hoping
in.
word's going to spread.
That's the in.
That might be
Yeah.
the in.
Yeah. They do them at. So I live in Tottenham.
Oh, brilliant.
Which is
Well,
very-
at
I'm very
Wembley, because you know
unfortunate
the
it's
massive
Arsenal
car park. Well, that's bad. You can't live near Tottenham, that's bad. But the massive car park at Wembley, they turn that into the tailgate because the tailgates of the NFL games are just... They all turn up in America in their pickups and they have barbecues and just drink before going into the game. It's brilliant. And in London, they just have massive stages outside Wembley and then people going in. That's the in, gents. I reckon we should do it.
Oh, there we go. Because I was thinking Tottenham Stadium because we've played there before, and we do therefore know some people, and they do NFL.
Two
there
in.
for us as
I'll
well.
phone Wembley up,
Two
you
ins.
phone Spurs up, we'll sort it.
That'd be great. You've had some famous guest artists join you in performances over the years, haven't you? Who's joined you that has been a bit thrilling?
Yeah, one or two.
Al Murray's a regular.
Yeah, pub landlord Al Murray. He's a drummer.
Is he?
very good
Does he
drummer as
like evict you from behind the drums, Matt?
He does, yeah. It's brilliant. I get a little rest, go and have a little sip of my pint and sort of watch the band play. It's brilliant. Watching
Well, he's
your
a
own
big
band play,
Genesis
by the
fan,
way,
isn't
it's
he?
fantastic. I recommend it. Yeah, he's a big rock fan, actually. He owns his own drum
He
company
loves his
as well,
Genesis,
which is-
loves Phil Collins. Much like me, at time of recording, I went to see Steve Hackett last night. Genesis. Anybody interested? No? Cool. Anyway, you were
Is he
saying?
good?
He was so good. Oh, so good. Anyway, carry on.
Who else has joined you?
Who else have joined us?
Batman Scoop.
Well, my favourite personal one. Oh, well, we've had a couple of ones that were exciting to me. One was Guy Pratt, who's the bass player from Pink Floyd.
Oh, my God.
He's played with us a few times, and that was cool. Just listening to him play bass on, we did Another Brick in the Wall. We did London Calling. These are slightly cooler songs than we normally get to play with Massaoke as well.
Yes.
And just the tone of the man using, Rye's a great bass player, our bass player, but Guy Pratt's he's one of the best in the world. So, and he wrote the bass line to various songs like a Prayer. It's an amazing bass line, and that was him. And so playing that with him was cool as well.
How did that come about? Was he just walking around? Where did you do that with him?
Edinburgh Fringe. So he's a bit of a raconteur. In fact, he has a podcast called Rockanteurs, which I would massively recommend
Very good.
Nice.
to rock fans. And he and Gary Kemp do interview a famous person from rock or music generally from the last 50 years, and they do a deep dive for an hour and a half at a time, and it's a good podcast. Okay. But yeah, he had a Edinburgh Fringe show himself, telling stories about his rock and roll days, and we nabbed him. We said, "Guy, fancy a bit of this?"
Oh,
and he was
brilliant.
like, "Yeah."
There is something
amazing.
about seeing those. I mean, I've just mentioned Steve Hackett. Watching Steve Hackett last night, it must have been the same. There's just something how they can make those pieces of wood and string sing in such a unique, specific way to them is just out of this world. Guy Pratt's a genius. Utter genius. That must have been incredible, Mark.
That was really incredible, yeah. Another one was the singer from Colin Hay from Men at Work.
I come from a land down under.
Yeah, so he sang A Land Down Under with us, and he is an amazing songwriter and performer. I mean, if you check out Men at Work and Colin Hay's back catalogue, because he's not so well known, especially over here, but my God.
There's a beautiful song he wrote in, it's used in Scrubs, actually. He's used it quite a lot in Scrubs episodes called Overkill. He's a very good songwriter, good pop singer.
I can't get to sleep.
Oh,
yeah.
I think about the
thumbs up from producer James there.
Such a beautiful song. Yeah, Colin Hayes is great.
Yeah.
Jack, you're quite into your music, aren't you? I've noticed that. I've never talked about it, but you got a lot of musical references. Where did that come from?
Big time. My mum's Ford Escort, the tape deck in my mum's Ford Escort, she would just play. I know the songs on the Genesis album. She's a massive Genesis fan. I know the songs on the Genesis albums that would stop halfway through and then you have to turn the tape over to play the rest of the song. So yeah, all stuff like that. I love music. My dad was a bassist. He was in a band called MC5.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Your dad was the bassist from the MC5.
Right, so I knew the pair of you would clock on this. Towards the end of their career,
Oh my God!
Yeah, he toured. He was like their session. He was their session bassist and toured with them. Did a world tour with them towards the end, like the last.
Oh, he's a proper rock star.
Yeah, he was.
MC5, yeah.
Yeah, no, he was. He was very, very good. That was the biggest thing he ever did. Yeah, no, I did, but I was very drunk last time I saw you. But yeah, so I love music.
Amazing.
I know, yeah. I love music. It's kind of really kind of imbued in my family. So, and I love rock music. I love prog music. I love, Eminem. Eminem. I don't like Eminem. I was just thinking about Glastonbury because he's playing Glastonbury next year. I don't like that. I like prog rock and Roxy music. The Smiths, all that kind of stuff. I love music. And
do
watching
you like King Crimson?
Not
King
really.
Crimson?
No, not really. No.
Jacko from King Crimson played with us last Edinburgh
Still
Fringe.
bloody brilliant. You've seen some amazing.
Cool, did some soloing over Purple Rain. He's a fast shredder.
Like the skill, the finger tapping. Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah,
Anyway.
he was totally blown away by what we do because we play like maybe 90 seconds of a song. We'll play verse, chorus, move on to the next song, and obviously King Crimson are the exact opposite. So they're sort of, he's really used to playing like 10-minute songs or whatever, and like
25-minute songs.
He was just like, this is. He actually really enjoyed it, but it was so different, I think, to what he normally does. And he's like, this is crazy. But what a player! Like his tone was absolutely out of this world, and really melodical on his solos and stuff as well. It's absolutely real.
But yeah, like I said earlier, like it must have been the same with Guy Pratt. When you see masters with an instrument, the whole world just sort of stops, and you're just obsessed with whatever's coming out of the speakers. It's like the same watching a performance as an actor. If you're watching a genius at work doing a Hamlet soliloquy, the whole world just stops, and you're just held in the palm of their hand. And
I saw Mark Rylance on Monday in the West End doing
perfect example.
Juno and the Paycock, and it wasn't a. Well, my review of the production wouldn't be a good one, but watching Mark Rylance act is mesmerising.
It's otherworldly.
Even though it was, it didn't fit in with the production and it wasn't blah, 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 but God, it was amazing.
Yeah.
What do you think was brilliant about it? Did you stop to think what made you so impressed?
I'm not very good at analysing these things. The way that he moves, and it's just charisma. It's the whole package, which I guess you call charisma, of movement and voice and timing. And I don't know what adds up to charisma. I've often wondered this.
Yeah.
I'll let you know, mate. I'll drop you a message. Yes, no.
Dear. True. Brilliant. Have you had a chance to look at our bucket list?
Yeah.
What would you add or replace? What's on your sporting bucket list?
Well, the Superbowl's on yours, isn't it? So
we've updated that.
We have, yeah. That has to be on there.
Playing at the Emirates for me.
Emirates, yeah.
Yeah, well, I want to play at the Emirates, but that's totally personal, and has nothing to do with any professional sort of.
Well, I think when you hit the big time, there's a box going that in the Arsenal stadium that I think there's only one guy in there with his son, so you could head into that box and watch some games. Hopefully, as you hit the big time,
political.
You'll need to be kept safe from fans.
Very topical.
Matt, what about you? Where would you love to either perform or just be in the stands, soaking up the atmosphere?
I really like going to sort of European club games, which I used to do. I used to go to football before my job meant that I couldn't. But sometimes, sometimes your job means you can't go to see football matches anymore.
We know the feeling.
I'd love to go and see, go to Bayern and stuff like that, and that'd be something really exciting for me.
Yeah,
I've been to some really good ones though. I went to see Celtic once, which was absolutely.
They have a great atmosphere up there, don't they?
It's fantastic. I went to Rangers as well, but Celtic was great.
Yes, good answer. Oh, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I think the Old Firm derby must be, that sort of weird blend between danger, feeling that your life's at risk, and enjoyment. I think that's often the case with some of those big global derbies, of which that really is one of the best ones around.
What's the one in Poland and it's terrifying? The Warsaw one. That's supposed to be absolutely terrifying. Yeah.
Some of the Italian ones as well, I think, could be quite fun.
Yeah.
There's some quite fun Italian sort of derbies and stuff I think would be really, really fun to go to.
So those are the places you'd add. Where would you like to come with us with? Are we all just going to the Super Bowl? Is this what we're going for?
We're going to Super Bowl.
It's got to be Super Bowl, yeah. Oh, we didn't say wrestling and UFC for me.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, fighty ones. Yeah. They know how to put on a show.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I've never been to. Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched a UFC match.
Pretty violent.
I've got quite into it. Yeah.
Have you?
It's midlife crisis kind of stuff.
Do you know what as well that I'd love to do is there's because I ski as well, which I'm trying to get. So we play snowbombing every year, which is the ski festival. Well, it's not a ski festival; it's a rave. It's a rave festival in a ski resort. Basically, at the end of the season, it's amazing. It's fucking great.
Oh, that sounds class.
But
I'd like to come to that with you guys.
Yeah. Well, let's maybe we'll try and see if there's a blag there.
That'd be great.
But there's a World Cup ski race, the night slalom in a town called Schladming, and it's wild. And I'd love to just put a show on just at the bottom once the racing finishes and just play to all those nutters down there, because that would be absolutely fantastic.
That's brilliant because it's so good, because that's actually, I persuaded Jack to put that on our bucket list, the downhill at Kitzbühel, because I think the Austrian fans really know how to drink and watch skiing. In Switzerland and France, it's a bit more sedate, but the Austrians really drink hard.
I don't know how to do both of those things, drink or ski, so I'm going to struggle.
That'd be a great day. Oh, I love that.
My wife's Austrian as well, so I've got a good link into the country.
Oh, really?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yes, that'd be great. What is snowbombing like? Is it a good do?
It's wild.
It's an EDM festival, so it's messy.
Really
but
messy.
Good fun. We're the only band, I think, usually. Liam Gallagher played there a few years ago, but they've moved away from the bands apart from us.
And what's the resort it's in?
Meyerhofen.
Yeah.
Meyerhofen.
Very good.
Great.
So one thing we do say towards the end of our podcast is, obviously this is a vain attempt to try and get invited to many more brilliant sporting events. You've obviously been fantastic and let us kind of gatecrash your performance at the T20, but who else can you introduce us to invite onto the podcast? Now, you've already given us the bass player of Pink Floyd. If you could drop him a message, I'd be forever, ever grateful. How amazing would that be? But is there anyone on your travels who you reckon on your phone book you could message and get us on the pod?
Who's into sports? That's the question.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
really know which of them are into sports.
What about Al Murray?
Al Murray's a good shout.
I'm not sure if it's
Al
into sports so much. He'll talk about military history with you for hours. If you want to invite him to talk about military history,
oh yeah, he's got his podcast, doesn't he? Yeah.
He'll talk to you about that for hours. Or drums, because like I say, he's got his own drum company as well. Like this is, I don't know how he gets. Like he writes books. He's got a podcast about military history. He's got a drum company.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how he gets everything done. But yeah, I've never ever in all of our chats heard him talk about sport once. Maybe cricket.
What about Ross Noble? He was.
Oh,
he played with us a lot. We befriended him in Adelaide, and he'd come and play Wonderwall with us on stage. He's a great character. He's a big Newcastle fan, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a Geordie. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a big Newcastle fan. Yeah, I think a little intro to Ross Noble will do it. Brilliant. That's sealed. And what about so we'd love to invite you to be members of Stage Door Athletic. Welcome. You can choose a role in the club. We've got various guests taking up roles as kit people, PR, press. Oh, Alex Hill, the actor who's doing Why I Stuck a Flare Up My Arse for England, he's our official chant writer now, so that's good. Also, what position can we offer you in the club, Mark?
Mascot?
Yes.
Very good. What outfit would you be wearing?
Oh, it's got to be the metallic Union Jack onesie.
That you wore in the Aldi advert.
That's going to go down really well for the under 8s
really
next
good,
week, isn't it?
I think the mass crowd we've managed to attract through your halftime performance might be scarpering back to the car parks as you run on with the kids as our official mascot. But we'll give it a whirl. Thanks very much, Matt. What position would you like to take up?
I just want a tabard and a megaphone, so anything that I can do that. Maybe parking.
Town crier?
Something like that, you know.
Parking.
Town crier, yeah.
Parking. I love that. Brilliant.
Just give me a tabard.
Car park attendant. Excellent. That'd be
we
really
should wear
good.
a tabard more often. We never get to wear tabards.
fair.
Everyone around us is wearing tabards.
A fluorescent tabard
Fair. I love
and
that.
a megaphone. We're going to have the most fun but well-organised car park of all amateur sports clubs around the country, with great tunes as you reverse into the slightly tight parking bays. Brilliant. That's great. Oh, fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us, but you've got to get out and do the full-time show because the under 8s match is coming to an end. You've promised to do the full-time show there. But thanks ever so much for joining us. That's been really, really fun and really interesting to hear about that.
You've been
You're very
amazing.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
And Christmas gigs. You've got some big Christmas gigs coming up.
Lots of Christmas, yeah. Christmas in Clapham, Christmas in Kingston, Christmas in Camden again.
Leeds.
Yeah.
Well,
All the
Leeds, I
Christmas
saw that
gigs.
actually.
The old Woolen.
I was looking
Yeah.
on your website. I saw the Leeds gig. I was thinking that might be something to drag my sister along to pre-Christmas and friends. Brilliant. And any sporting events in the diary?
I'm going to try and get to see Arsenal. This period is quite
great.
quiet for sports events for us because we tend to be the summer, the big sort of
Yeah,
like
Yes.
cold.
Well, you've got to start working on that Pepsi halftime show. Brilliant. Well, thanks again. Have great weeks and go wild those crowds.
Thanks, gents.
Thanks, Rob and Jack.
See you at the Super Bowl.